new Dr. Phil, the former priest and the scorned ex-wife.
This is pure hatred.
This is pain.
Who's to blame for their son's death?
Your son killed himself with a shotgun.
Peter died under her roof. She doesn't appear to have any recognition of what she's done.
Do you believe that she would want your son to be dead?
Yes.
You sorry son of a bitch.
You shut up.
I don't have to shut up anymore.
Let me finish.
You are finished.
You have said some things that are absolutely reckless. And I pray to God that you don't mean them, because if you do, you, sir, have a black heart. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. I sat down with Pamela, who said her husband of 17 years, Pete, a former priest and current licensed counselor, ran off with a massage therapist named Lori, who he met at a couples retreat. Now, Pamela says Pete then abandoned her and their 2 teenage sons for a life with Lori. Now, Pamela is pointing the finger at Pete and accusing him of causing the death of their 15-year-old son, Pete Jr., who died by suicide just 6 months ago. But Pete says Pamela's accusations are ludicrous because she is the one who gave him access to a shotgun, and in fact, he says she, quote, wanted him dead. Take a look.
Pete had an affair with a life coach massage therapist. I hired a private investigator to do some background work. The investigator got pictures of Pete and Lori hugging and kissing each other.
So your theory is she coached him right out of the house
Exactly.
and right over to her house.
Exactly. Lori is a homewrecker.
There's no fury like a scorned wife.
With Lori, I have a partner who I don't feel is just sucking the life out of me.
You are still a lying narcissist?
You are a walking, breathing lie.
I've lived under your gag order our entire marriage. No more. Our children are the victim, not him, and definitely not her.
My marriage was not viable.
She's saying until the day you left, you actively engaged in an intimate relationship with her.
It was very dissatisfying.
Meeting your damn near sexually impossible needs at night.
Oh.
But this is the wonderful marriage that I apparently split up, right?
I don't care if she speaks or not. She's
Well, then
not
you have
part
to be
of my
quiet.
family.
You have to be quiet
No,
first.
I don't.
My son Peter committed suicide using a shotgun. I believe Pete and Lori are responsible for my son Peter's suicide. He left his sons for Lori.
I accidentally saw Pamela at the funeral home. And when she saw me, you would have thought that I had just melted the witch. Oh my God, I can't see her not. Get her out of my sight.
You realize her son had just killed himself with a shotgun, and you're mocking her.
We had left the funeral home. I had just held Peter's dead body, whom I did not see for 1 year.
Because you put her before him.
I forgive you for the death
I'm not
of Peter.
asking for your forgiveness.
Yeah.
Pamela says her ex-husband is 100% responsible for the death of their 15-year-old son, Peter Jr., who died tragically by suicide just 6 months ago. But Pete says his ex-wife needs to carry that burden on her own shoulders because he says she's the one who caused Peter Jr.'s depression by not only telling their son that Pete did not love him, but also giving him access to a loaded shotgun.
Pamela is not grounded in reality. Peter died under her roof. The shotgun was accessible to Peter, a severely depressed teenage boy. She doesn't appear to have any remorse. She doesn't appear to have any recognition of what she's done. And it can't continue That's why I'm sitting in this chair. I'm sitting here for Peter, but I'm sitting here for Joseph. Pamela, you cannot do to Joseph what you have done to Peter, because I won't allow it.
Your theory about this is that she was irresponsible by giving a young boy known to be depressed access to a loaded shotgun.
Correct.
And that she fed his depression by causing him to believe that his father, you, did not care for him, had abandoned him, was not contributing to his well-being, did not love him enough to pay for even the essentials in his life, and had wadded him up and thrown him away, which destroyed his self-worth, his self-esteem, made him feel like nothing and rejected, and then essentially handed him a loaded shotgun. That's
correct.
That's pretty much a summary of your theory.
The night that Peter died, I talked to Joseph for about 2.5 hours on the phone, and one of my first questions was, Joseph, how did Peter get the gun? Joseph said, Mom put him in charge of it. He said it twice.
Did I summarize your
Yes,
theory?
you did, Dr. Phil.
Pretty well?
Yes, thank you.
And the Department of Social Services determination fact sheet regarding Peter's death, which is dated June 2nd, 2016, says on March 30th, 2016, the minor child Peter committed suicide. The gun was not locked in the proper gun safe. The gun was assessed to the minor child. The minor child Peter was diagnosed with severe depression. Pamela left the minor child home alone despite mental health providers advising her not to. Pamela was advised to keep all the guns and medication locked in the home. Peter's toxicology report indicated that he was not taking his prescribed medication for depression. So what do you say about that?
What Peter had in his possession was a Walmart-purchased BB gun. We even took that when DSS came to the home because they said take it to the police station. We did. The police station refused to accept it. They spoke straightly to DSS and said, this is a toy. We cannot even accept that. So can you get that out of the house? That's what Peter was in charge of. I said, fine, we'll take it and we'll lock it out in my mom's garage so that the plastic pellet BB gun is not in Joseph's possession.
Where was the
What
shotgun?
Peter found was my dad's old 410 single gauge shotgun buried in the insulation in the attic, behind a door, behind furniture.
Well, let me tell you, having been trained in forensic psychology, I can tell you that if I was handed that DSS report, then I would take that to the police for probable cause, and there would be a determination whether or not an investigation would ensue, whether there would be cause for criminal action, because it could be involuntary manslaughter, it could be criminally negligent homicide, or whatever. And here is the police department incident report. The officer located Peter, who was deceased, in his upstairs bedroom. The cause of death was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
It was right there beside Peter.
And the manner of death is suicide. It was determined that the case regarding possible unlawful neglect would not be prosecuted due to it being problematic in proving criminal intent. They apparently determined that there was no cause to move forward with criminal action. Now, let me ask you, before you pontificate on this, do you, in your wildest dream or theory, believe that she would want your son to be dead?
You always said that she loved Peter more than me all the time.
You know that she did. Tell me that's not
He
true,
always
Joseph.
told me you told him that.
You shut up.
And later,
He has never loved me, so you are selfish. Get that through your head. You're not the victim. He's never loved me. I've always let me say the one thing that I came here to say.
Do you, in your wildest dream or theory, believe that she would want y'all's son to be dead?
Yes. Absolutely.
You sorry son of a bitch!
Yeah.
You are an absolute heartless narcissist.
No.
You heard him say it too, right?
Pamela told me that she would do everything in her power to turn my children against me, to make them hate me.
No.
And she has held sorrowfully true to that promise.
You always said that she loved Peter more than me all the time.
You know that she did. You and Peter both admitted that. Tell me that's not
He
true,
always
Joseph.
told me you told him that.
You shut up.
I don't have to shut up when you tell me that anymore. I lived under your gag order long enough.
Tell me that she didn't love Peter more than you. Tell me that, Joseph.
Why are you saying
Say it
that
out
to your
loud.
child?
Because it's true. Can you deny that? You can't.
Hang on just one second. Audrey, you're Pete's sister, right?
Yes.
Thank you for being here, and may I say to you as well, I'm sorry for your loss of your nephew.
Thank you.
You are here, I assume, in support of your brother.
Pamela has become very angry and bitter. She's full of hatred and she's not able to move on with her life. I think that Pamela's actions destroyed the boys' relationship with their dad. I think that she said a lot of horrible things. After Pete left, Pamela became more controlling in her parenting of the boys. Pamela has lost touch with reality, with what's best for Joseph. He's a very angry young man right now. He's full of grief, but he's also so full of hatred. And that is so sad. Joseph deserves so much better. Joseph is angry with me because I think that Pamela has told him that I only listen to Pete. He called and left very hateful messages on my voicemail.
You and Dad, the garbage.
I saw Instagram photos that Joseph had posted. There were guns. I just found them very disturbing. I'm afraid of Joseph. I think he could become violent. I'm afraid for my brother and for Lori's safety as well. I would like to have a relationship with Joseph, but he told me he wants me to die and to go and kill myself. As a loving aunt, I would like to help bring healing and truth to the situation, but Pamela and Joseph are on a destructive path, and it'll only bring unhappiness to both of them and danger to other people.
Do you endorse the things that he's saying here in the last 5 minutes?
What I would like to say is that I'm here to support Joseph and Pamela and Pete and Peter Jr. I have loved all of them, and I'm here for the truth and for love and for healing. My main reason in being here is that Joseph gets some help and that Pamela can acknowledge her behavior throughout the past 4 years and how she did engage in parental alienation.
I mean, how she's raised me,
acknowledge
how she's been the one who raised me, and how he's left.
What I
how he's
will
never been
acknowledge
there.
is Audrey flying down for the funeral and meeting at the funeral and saying, so when is it time for her in Joseph's life? When is it time for her in my life?
That's not
and
what
I
I said.
could not accept that at that moment.
That's not what I said. Pamela, you have lied
I
so
have
many
not
times.
lied.
Stop right there. Go
Find
back
one
up to
thing I've
Canada. You
lied
don't even
about
know what
and
you're
prove
saying.
it, please.
You've never been
Somebody,
here.
somebody.
You don't know her family. You don't know it.
Somebody
Go back
find
up.
one thing I've lied about, please.
Why are you sitting down there?
Dr. Phil invited me to speak.
Yes, I did. I did. You're here at my request, and I thank you for being here. I'm just trying to find someone that will take a rational approach here.
For me, I don't care about what has passed with the divorce that's done. All I am seeking is what can I do for this son. I've lost one son, and I'm out of options. Joseph is 18 now. His father put a don't contact order against him right before, a couple days before his 18th birthday.
Because the two of you scammed me, by the way. Joseph graduated on May the 21st. He sent me letters to attend the graduation.
No.
You texted me. Let me finish.
before.
Let me finish.
right,
You
go ahead.
texted me
You
saying.
are finished!
No,
He
Pamela.
mailed you 2 tickets in an envelope with nothing else in it because he said he was going to walk across that stage for himself and for his brother, who was not going to be able to ever do that.
You know what?
He mailed you the tickets. You never responded you got them. You never sent anything. 10 minutes before those doors closed, you texted, Joseph, I'll be there the last
Dad,
minute.
you are so lucky Peter's not here right now. You know exactly what he'd say.
Yeah, you know what he'd say?
Yeah,
not
he'd
gonna
say,
let you
you're
through heaven's
lying.
gate.
No.
And why the hell is she here? And then why is she here?
Yeah.
And then why are you even talking?
I will take anything anyone can put on my shoulders. I'll go to the cross for my son. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me. I just want to get my son whatever help I can because you have not helped.
Oh.
Just don't cause any more harm. If you cannot help, just no harm.
This is pure hatred speaking.
This is pain.
You had a wedding band made that said, I loved him then, I love him still, I always will. It's 4 years, Pamela.
And later, you have said some things here that are absolutely reckless. I pray to God that you don't mean them, because if you do, you, sir, have a black heart.
I'm angry with Aunt Audrey because she thinks that she knows us, and she's been in Canada the whole time, through the divorce, through literally everything we've been through. She said my mom and me aren't mentally healthy, and I told her she's a bitch. She told me Lori and Dad need to be in my life, and I don't see how that's beneficial. They've done nothing for me, only for themselves.
Lori does not need to be front and center in Joseph's life. If that's the way Audrey feels, I don't need that kind of help.
Audrey, I ask you to come. I want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. I tried to support Pamela very much in the beginning, and I asked her, I will come down, I will be with you at the funeral. I came for Joseph. Joseph emphatically told me he hated me, which was like, came out of the blue for me. So I researched, I looked at stories. I know, Pamela, you have been lying to me for
I have
years.
not
Please
lied.
don't speak,
Can
Pamela.
she speak?
If she presents what the lie is so that I can answer
Okay,
it.
no, please, I ask her to speak.
Sure.
Let her
I'm
speak, and
sorry.
I don't need you to help me manage her.
Okay.
So
Pamela
just
lied
let
to me on so many occasions. I think that Pamela doesn't sometimes know what the truth is anymore. There has been extreme parental alienation, and I'm 100% convinced that Joseph is parental alienation syndrome, and so was Peter. I believe that Joseph does not know the truth. I think he deserves to learn the truth, that his mom has been lying to him, and his mom has kept him from a relationship with his dad and from all of your loving family in Canada. Your mom, Joseph, she destroyed your sense of self and your sense of becoming the young man that you need to be and deserve to be. And that's why I'm here, because I love you and I want you to learn the truth in a protected and safe way. And Pamela, you need to see your actions and what you have done, and you need to heal from that and move forward in your life.
And I need you to recognize the truth of the
You
actions
told
that
me
he's done.
time after time how awful Pete was, and yet I love him, I love him, I love him. When we went for the walk, you threw your hand at me and said, look at this, and you had a wedding band made.
That's not a wedding band.
That said, I loved him then, I love him still, I always will. It's 4 years, Pamela.
It's not
that
a
he
wedding
left
band.
You. Why do you wear
Do you
a
have the
band
pictures?
on your hand that professes love for a man that you say is so horrible? You said, my wedding finger is so empty, I had this made.
I felt I had to find something to hold on to love so that I would not be consumed with hate. These two boys came out of love.
You don't
and
know
I
what
saw
love
that
is,
band and I
Pamela.
got it. That was just a
Joseph
symbol.
had a loving relationship, and so did Peter, with
never,
his father.
He's never loved me. I've always let
He
me
has
say
loved
the
you.
one thing that I came here to say.
Yes.
He has never loved me. I've always had to fake it around him. Hockey, on the trips, my brother didn't do it. He was always himself. That's why he's dead, because he didn't fake it around him.
Your
okay?
dad?
No, let me talk. I faked my personality around him, okay? And I lost my personality to that, because I've always had to do that, or else you'll leave me.
Well, Joe.
That's what I've came here to say.
Okay.
So you are selfish.
Okay.
Get that through your head. You're not the victim. She's the victim. She's been, listen,
Peter, the
listen.
victim.
You have been there. I can be myself around you. I have always been able to be myself around you, okay? Thank you.
All I
There's
want is
one
help
thing.
for my son. I don't care
understand.
about what anyone else
Okay,
thinks.
all right, let me, there's a letter that Pete sent his son Joseph, August 26, 2014, and I have some excerpts from it. It says, "Dear Joseph, I have not seen or heard from you in almost a year. I do not want to say anything bad about Mom. It has been almost 2 years since I left, and you have been going downhill. It's obviously not working between you and Mom. I do not mean any disrespect towards Mom, and I'm not blaming her. Whatever Mom has been doing with you is not working, and I'm asking you to give me a chance because I love you." Did you read that letter?
Yep.
He gave it to his counselor. He gave it to me. I gave it to his counselor.
I want to be sure you read it.
He did.
I've heard enough, and we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back, and I have something to say to each of the 5 people that are on this stage, and I really hope they listen. We'll be right back. Lori, if it wasn't you, it would be somebody else, and I can tell you that it probably will be somebody else.
I would like to say when I'm
really not in a very conversational
Well, I'm gonna talk
mood
to
right
her
now.
then.
No,
I'm not
no,
listening to you.
No. Closed captioning provided by I'm here with Pamela and Pete, who were married for 17 years. Lori, who is Pete's current wife. Joseph, the surviving son in this family. Audrey, Pete's sister. And in a bit of an unusual procedure, I've got something to say to each one of these people, and as I say it, I'm going to excuse each person from the stage and audience to go backstage, because I kind of want to do this in order. And Audrey, since you're in the audience, I'm going to start with you, say what I have to say to you, and then I'll ask you to excuse yourself backstage. There's a reason, a method to my madness. Again, thank you for coming here. I did ask you here, so in y'all criticizing her for being here, she's here at my request, and I'm glad you did come.
Thank you.
I asked you early if you supported the things that your brother was saying. You did not answer that. You said you were here to support everyone, which was an artful dodge, I suppose. You seem to me to be a very rational woman, and I do think you have everyone's best interest at heart. And in so doing, I hope to God that you don't support some of the things that your brother is saying here, because I think if you look back and listen to some of the things he's saying, I hope in a quiet moment you will ask him to weigh the gravity of some of the things that he's saying, because he has just said to his ex-wife, "I believe she wanted that boy dead. I believe he was the favorite, and the one that's left comes in second. And if he wanted the first one dead, the favorite dead, then what's that say about the second one?" And if you endorse that kind of rhetoric coming from him, then I've greatly overestimated your rationality. And I hope, because I know y'all have a relationship, that you might chat with him about the gravity of his comments.
May I say something?
I hope it's very brief, because
Yes.
I'm not really in a very conversational mood right now.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I think that Pamela was so set on her vindictiveness that she lost sight of what was good for her sons,
Yeah.
and that she left them in a very vulnerable position.
And I'll say what I said.
Okay,
after
I'm
the
not in a
funeral.
very
Have
conversational
a
mood right now,
safe
so
trip
thank
to
you. I
Toronto.
appreciate it. And if you would excuse yourself, please, Lori. You're kind of getting painted with a black brush here, and it's easy to hate you because you seem to be the interloper in this marriage. I can tell you that that weight falls on him, not you. If it wasn't you, it would be somebody else, and I can tell you that it probably will be somebody else, because marriages that start with infidelity have about a 96% failure rate. So you're in a very high-risk situation here, and I really hope that you won't judge what you don't understand, because you really can't know everything that's gone before you. And it's unfair to expect you to, because you can't.
I would like to say when
I'm
met
really
Pete-
not in a very conversational
Well, I'm gonna talk
mood
to
right
her
now.
then.
No,
I'm not
no.
listening to you.
No,
I was
we're
told- I was
we're
told
really.
that they were separated,
No.
so that
Yeah,
is
I
where
understand. I get it.
So he
Now
loves
listen,
you
we're past
too.
this. We're past this. We're past this. I just wanted to tell you that he's the one that chose to do what he did in this marriage, not you. As I said, it wasn't you, it'd be somebody else, and probably will be. I
disagree with that because
I
I
understand.
know Pete.
I understand, but put this in your
Yes.
DVR, and
I will.
the day
It's
may
in there.
come when you may look at this, and I certainly wish everybody the best, and I wish you no ill whatsoever, and I'm glad that you did come here, and I'll ask you to excuse yourself and leave us here for just a moment. You just go straight down this way. Pete,
I have love in my heart. She has hatred.
when you tell the mother of your child if she wanted your boy dead, you have lost your way. Closed captioning provided by Pete. Pamela is very upset with you right now, and you're very upset with her. My experience is that behind anger, if you pull that away, you see hurt, fear, and frustration behind that. And I think both of you right now have very raw emotions. What I would ask you to do is make a copy of this show, record it, and watch it 10 times. Not 6, not 7. Watch this 10 times.
Right.
Because I think you'll see something different every time. And I think you will gain some objectivity every time. Because I think you have said some things here today that are absolutely reckless. I think you have said some things that are destructive and reckless, and I pray to God that you don't mean them, because if you do, you, sir, have a black heart. And I'm not talking about you just yelling and trying to talk people down, but when you tell the mother of your child that you believe she wanted your boy dead, and you choose during the midst of the grief work that your son is doing, you want to point out to him that his brother was the favorite in order to win an argument point, you have lost your way. And I don't think that's what you really think, feel, and what your objectives are. That boy took his life, and that's a choice that he made, and I'm so sorry that he made it. And I pray to God that you find it in your heart to forgive him, and that they find it in their heart to forgive him, because I know that he forgives all of you. But I hope that whatever may have happened to contribute to that, that toxicity can stop. and that you don't even take the risk of doing damage to those people in your wake in order to lift yourself up. Because I'll tell you, putting out other people's candles does not make yours burn brighter.
Okay, and I know you're
you.
not in a
No, I'm
conversational
not.
mood, but may I just
No.
say one thing?
No, thank you.
Well,
I
I
really,
was told that I would not be judged on this show.
and
I love Peter, my son who took his life. I love Joseph, who I still pray will receive your help if you deem that appropriate. I have love in my heart. She has hatred, and that's the bottom line.
okay. Thank you. Have you been where you would not swerve if you saw the sumbitch in a crosswalk? Probably. Let me apologize for you having to hear the words. Pamela, on behalf of everything rational, let me apologize for you having to hear the words that you wanted your son dead. I just apologize on behalf of humanity for somebody having said that to
I've
you.
heard worse.
Well, listen, I cannot control him, but just know that there are rational people in this world that know better than that.
Thank you.
Do you have vindictive bones in your body? Yes,
Yes,
you
I do.
Have you been where you would have in your heart that you would not swerve if you saw the sumbitch in a crosswalk? Probably. I get that, and you may have come by that. Honestly, I totally understand. But there are things that were said here today that are just wrong. What I want is for you to understand that there is life after all of this. And I didn't have the privilege of knowing Pete Jr. From knowing Joseph.
You know Joseph, you know Pete.
I
Jr.
can only imagine that he is a young man of conviction
Yes.
and depth and strength. If he's anything like his brother,
Yes.
it's my loss that I didn't know him, because it's my gain that I do know Joseph, and I'm very proud to know Joseph, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to know Pete Jr. And I want you to know that if I'm one of those people that believes that God does allow us in this next world to have an awareness of what's going on. And I think it would be terrible if Pete Jr. looked down and became aware that his legacy was one of pain.
He's here with us always.
That what he left behind was pain. Because that would just be terrible. I want you to make it your goal to celebrate his life, not to spend the rest of your life grieving his death. And I'm going to get you professional help.
Thank you.
That we're going to work through this, and we're going to help you. We're going to help you in that walk. And but I want Pete Jr. to know that he's a source of joy in y'all's heart,
is.
not of pain.
He is.
And you know, there's a story about children in heaven that God would come around every day and have them light their candle to go on a walk, and one little boy would always sit to the side and never go, and they asked him why. And he said, because every time I light my candle, my mother's tears put it out. You don't want to be that mother.
We're trying.
Don't be
hard.
that mother that puts his candle out. Which means
We've been
you gotta
trying to
have
do
some
things
joy.
in celebration of him.
And I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to get you the help and support to do that.
Thank you.
Will you
Thank you.
excuse us, please?
Thank you. Thank you.
Joseph? Closed captioning provided by... So why do you suppose I left you to last?
I don't know.
I left you for last because I care about you the most. I have 2 boys, Jay and Jordan. I sometimes, when I see young men, I often think, if one of my boys was in the situation that I sometimes see other boys, what would I want someone to do for one of them if I wasn't around?
Yeah.
And if Jay or Jordan were in this situation, what would I want someone to do for them? And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, but I would pray that they would meet me. And I say that because I am absolutely devoted to getting you out of this maze.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power and ability to choose what you want in your life. You have the power and ability to choose your personal truth. And your personal truth right now is damaged. I've been there. I've been where I had a damaged personal truth, and I had to decide I'm either going to live with that personal truth all beat up, or I'm going to repair it and move on. And let me tell you, if you have a damaged personal truth, you will generate the results you think you deserve. And if you feel like a second-class citizen, you will generate second-class results. And don't you do that. I will not let you do that.
Thank you.
You need to shake all of this off. You need to decide that all of this emotional baggage, all of these mixed messages, all of these negative messages, you have a decision. You don't react to the reality in life. You react to what you say to yourself about it. If you choose to reject this message, then you can reject it. If you choose to decide that you are the young man that you want to be, if you decide to be someone that becomes a leader instead of a follower, if you decide to choose joy instead of pain, if you decide to choose strength instead of weakness, if you decide to be a victor instead of a victim, then you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want you to do, and I am going to help you do that. And I flew somebody in here today for you. This is Miles Adcox right here. He is the CEO of Onsite, and they are a worldwide leader in putting together intensive workshops, in specializing with folks that have been through trauma, people that have had themselves knocked off the rails and really just have a hard time getting back up on the highway and moving down the road. I asked him to fly in here today because I want you to go to Onsite. I want you to call time out in your life, put yourself in the shop, hit the reset button, and decide that you are going to start making some different decisions and not let yourself be defined by anybody other than you and what you want.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you do this?
Yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I love you, buddy. All right, have a seat. I want to thank my guests today, and a special thanks to this man, Miles Adcox. He's the owner and CEO of Onsite. We will see you next time.